Ms. Diaz-Worley gave me this quote and asked me if I could do a lecture based on this theme: a picture is a poem without words. And I really like this quote, and I understand what it means, that art is like poetry. But there's one problem I have with this quote, and it's the word picture. The connotation of the word picture does not have as much meaning to me as art. When I think of a picture, I think of something that I like very much that could be found in an illustration in a book or a magazine, but it doesn't have the importance that art has. So then I got to thinking about some artists that I know. This is a work of art by Patrick Palmer. He is a professional artist. He makes a living making art. He's also the Dean of Students at the Glassell School of Art. Some would argue that this work of art is more art-worthy than Patrick Palmer's. This is a student work of art, but it has a lot of meaning and has a lot of beauty to look at. So, can student artwork be art? That got me to thinking, what makes a masterpiece? And when I think of a masterpiece, the first thing that comes to mind is the Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci. I've actually gotten to see the Mona Lisa up close and personal, and it's actually kind of small, and it's not that impressive to me. I think something that's more impressive, the most impressive about the Mona Lisa, is the fact that it could be Leonardo in drag. I prefer Marcel Duchamp's Mona Lisa, L-H-O-O-Q. When you say this really fast in French, it roughly translates to "she has a nice ass." And what Marcel Duchamp is trying to say by making fun of Mona Lisa is that we don't have to worship her just because she is the Mona Lisa and she's the most recognizable image in the world. We can pick out what we think is meaningful to us and what we decide is art. So a couple of years ago, the Museum of Fine Arts Houston was about to get their own masterpiece. And so I was really excited about the fact that we were getting a Rembrandt, because I'd never seen a Rembrandt up close. I think there's only like 6 in the whole nation. So I went to the Museum of Fine Arts Houston to see the Rembrandt for the first time. And when I first saw this work of art, the first thing that popped into my mind was, is this a man or a woman? Because she's not a real lovely little lady here. But then I read the title card. It says it's a portrait of a young woman. And indeed, this is a beautiful, crafted work of art. If you look at the lace collar, it's impeccable. The pearls are beautiful. But to me, this doesn't really hold a lot of meaning. Sorry about that. Okay, if you ask the people of Houston, every year they have a poll to decide what's the best work of art, what's their favorite at the Museum of Fine Arts Houston. Every year, the elder sister wins. Every year. When I look at the elder sister, I think this child is tired of holding this baby. It really doesn't have that much meaning to me. So I thought about what works of art would I choose if someone asked me what were my favorite works of art in the Museum of Fine Arts Houston. And I can't really narrow it down to just one. I narrowed it down to 3, though. And I like the 3 different paintings for 3 different reasons. This one is one of my favorites. Every time I take students to the Museum of Fine Arts Houston, I take them to see the Yellow Scale by Kupka. When I look at it, it's kind of an inside joke to me. When I know that this is a portrait of the artist, it's a self-portrait. And he was a man that thought of himself with a lot of importance. So he wanted to portray himself as learned and intellectual. But in reality, when kids look at this, they see this guy as really effeminate and kind of weak. So to me, it's kind of an inside joke, and it's a good conversation piece. I like Blue and Black by Lee Krasner simply for the aesthetics. I think it's a beautiful work of art. It makes me kind of sad, though, when I look at it, because I think about what Lee Krasner went through while she was painting. She painted sort of in the shadow of her famous husband, Jackson Pollock. All of us, or a lot of us that know art, know Jackson Pollock, Jack the Ripper. but very few people know Lee Krasner. The third work of art that I really, really like is this work by James Drake. It's called Juarez El Paso Boxcar. This work of art has a lot of meaning to me. James Drake grew up in El Paso, and he said that living on the border of Texas and Mexico was a lot like a war zone. In the summer of 1987, he read an article about a coyote that was smuggling people across the border illegally in a boxcar. He got the boxcar across. There were 19 men inside, and the boxcar was then supposed to go to Dallas, where these people were supposed to be let go. However, the boxcar never went on to Dallas, and 18 people suffocated when the temperatures reached 130 degrees inside the boxcar. There was one person that survived by taking a railroad spike and drilling a hole in the bottom of the floorboard to survive. I think when an artist gets that inspiration from just reading an article, that means a lot to me.